Hi, everyone. I'm Heather, and thank you for joining us for another Homeschool Live brought to you by the Old Schoolhouse. Today, we'll be hearing from Stephanie Hobson, the Director of Sales for the Old Schoolhouse, about the 2022 Homeschool Market Survey Report. Please share this video with anyone that might be interested in this product, and please post any comments or questions that you might have for Stephanie throughout this interview. And now I'd like to introduce Stephanie Hobson. She worked as a social worker for 14 years doing home visit services with at-risk children and first-time mothers before making the decision to stay home with their children and homeschool her children. She is one of the Old Schoolhouse directors, and she does an incredible job leading her team on a daily basis in addition to homeschooling her own children. Thank you so much for joining me today, Stephanie.
Thank you for having me, Heather. You give me a big head. Thank you so much.
Well, I am so excited about the Homeschool Market Report that you're going to be talking about. This is the second annual report put out by the Old Schoolhouse. And the Old Schoolhouse is a company that's been around over 2 decades. And it is my understanding that an incredible team made this happen. The woman who actually formed this report holds a doctorate degree. She's the author of a math curriculum for kids and has worked in statistics and marketing for years. And not only her, but the whole team is knowledgeable, qualified, and skilled. And not only these types of reports, but they have homeschooling experience and they know the homeschool market. Can you tell us about this report? I'm so excited to hear more about it.
I'm so excited to tell you more about it. And you're absolutely right. Kirsten West is, and it's actually Dr. Kirsten West, is amazing and phenomenal. And she and her team put this report together. It's our second homeschool market survey report. And it's a wonderful report for so many reasons that we'll get into, but it really, it's a detailed study that really highlights the buying preferences of homeschooling families and, super important, the changes in those over the last 12 months.
Wow, that is absolutely incredible. So if you could tell us exactly what the Homeschool Market Survey is, how did it come to be? What were your thoughts behind producing this survey?
Absolutely. So I will tell you a couple things I love to talk about: the homeschool market and things like this, these types of reports, because they shed so much light on this particular market, or any market really. So like you said, Dr. Kirsten West and her team put this together. It is our second report. We began these last year, and we had a 2021 homeschool market report. And so these are super interesting because they both look at the market post-pandemic. We know that homeschooling has changed in the past couple of years, right? And so this particular survey had over 2,100 respondents. Wow. So when we take that number, we realize that is a very large number to get a great representative portion for the homeschool market. So when we look at these results, we know they're representative of the market, which is huge. This is actually, and I'm going to show you all the actual market report. This is a 150-page survey report. It's full of information on defining characteristics of the homeschool family. So things such as their demographics, their higher education plans for their students, how much income we're looking at for these families, and how much they want to spend on curriculum, homeschooling materials, homeschooling products for families, right? Because one thing I always love to say is homeschooling families are just that, right? They're families. They happen to homeschool and educate their children at home. So we look at, also in this report, we look at their learning style preferences. We look at their curriculum preferences. We also look at what is the best way to actually market to these families. Is the bet what venues are they looking at? What channels are they looking at? We know social media is a phenomenal, cost-efficient way to reach homeschooling families, right? Which platform is the best? Which platform for which type of curriculum is the best? And so we're able to really break it down into different subcategories. It's amazing. And for anyone who's trying to reach the homeschooling market, they're going to want to know this information. One really important thing that I want to mention about the survey, and something it can do for our customers and again, anybody trying to reach the homeschool market is we look at changes in buying patterns.
Mm.
Again, we know the homeschool market is changing. We know it's growing, but there are going to be, along with those changes, are going to be changes in buying patterns. And it is so important for us to be able to help our customers figure those out and figure out what is going to work best in their marketing plans for our customers. And then another thing with this report that I want to mention is there are so many questions on what type of features do homeschooling families want to see in their curriculum.
Mm.
When a company is starting to look at rolling out a new product, and isn't that exciting? Like, we love to roll out new products. We love to get the word out to our audience, but we want to do it the most efficient way, and we want to do it the most effective way. And so when we're developing these products, we really want to keep in mind, what is it that our target customer wants? What is the particular homeschooling family that I want to target? What are they going to want? And so this report is going to focus in on all of that. It's so exciting. I know that I might sound like a geek because I'm so excited about it, but there's so much information. And the information is actually broken down into two ways. There's overall analysis of question groups. There's also really detailed analysis of each question along with infographics. I love that. I do not love putting infographics together. However, lots of companies and lots of colleagues like seeing those. And so it's already done. You don't have to do it for your colleagues. It's already done for you. And so it's a really wonderful report already put together for you so that you can take advantage of it.
Wow. It's absolutely incredible. This is the second report that you've done. And like you said, they both have been post-pandemic. So like you said, homeschooling has changed so much over the years. So maybe a lot of companies they got into their groove. They've been doing this a decade or two, and they maybe have hit a wall and they wonder, where do I go now? Because we have all these new homeschoolers. I was able to go to a couple homeschool conventions this season, and, I came back and reported, wow, the new homeschool mom is completely different. They want different things. Like, you could just see that it's not the same. We need to change our way of reaching them. We can't just keep doing it the same way. We can still have the same quality products, have the same quality content, but it's just a matter of getting it into their hands. So this report can help show companies how to do that. And I'd love to touch on how it doesn't have to necessarily be a homeschool company, because like you said, we're talking about families here that just happen to homeschool. So really the reach is absolutely phenomenal. There could be
so many
different products out there.
Absolutely. Of course, if you are wanting to reach homeschooling families, the Old Schoolhouse has been in business for over 20 years, right? We're a staple, we're a mainstay, we're a very trusted brand. But again, like I mentioned, homeschooling families are just that. They're families that happen to educate their children at home. They travel. They do extracurriculars, things you want to look at in this survey report. How much money do they spend on extracurriculars, right? What types of extracurriculars? Homeschooling families, they shop, right? They eat groceries, they buy clothing, they do everything that other families do. They just happen to homeschool. They homeschool their children. They educate at home. And so, yes, you're 100% right about that. Curriculum companies, homeschool curriculum companies, of course, are going to want this information, as are any company trying to reach that homeschooling family. Yes.
And what would you say to maybe a small author just getting their feet wet in marketing and getting their product out there to the homeschool community? Would you think this would be valuable for somebody like that?
Yes. I would say to a small author, go to our media kit today and purchase this report, because this report is not only for those really large companies. It is very well written. It's written to where any size company can understand it. But as a small company, you really want to be focused in on, this is my limited marketing budget, right? And so how do I use it effectively? It's great if you can, one thing I always say, and I say this to all of our sales reps who work with us on our sales team, and to any client, It's great when clients purchase ads. But what's really even better is when they purchase ads that are effective for what they're doing. I do not ever want a company to purchase something that's not actually going to help them, right?
Right.
We want families to be blessed by the products that they're seeing throughout our channels and throughout our venues. And so purchasing ads that don't really target your market population, or excuse me, market to your target population, those aren't going to be as effective. And so this report is going to help those very small startup companies, publishers of new books, really be able to focus in on the advertising channels that they need to be successful.
That's absolutely incredible.
Mhm.
I was just wondering, for those watching, can you describe what you see as one of the biggest challenges
Mhm.
with advertising today? How can this report help with those challenges?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest challenge that I see is consistently delivering ads that have an impactful message for that consumer, for that target audience. Consistency is going to be key. I think sometimes when we have these economic ups and downs, so on the ups, we tend to be a little bit more free with our marketing dollars, and on the downs, we tend to hold back a little. And we know through research and through history shows us that sometimes when we hang on to those dollars and we don't advertise as much during those economic downturns, we don't have as good as results because audiences and our target markets need to see that we as a company are steady. And spending those advertising dollars during those downturns, now I'm not saying go out and blow your budget. Of course, I would not be saying that. But being consistent, even during some of those downturns, can really have huge effects on the efficiency of our ads and the efficiency long term. So I think consistency is one. And I think using those ads to really make that impactful statement to your target, right? I'll say we at the Old School House, we offer a service with all of our social media ads. It's a free social media review. We really encourage our clients to take advantage of it because we know our audience and we want those social media ads to be as effective as possible. And so we offer that free social media review to all of our clients to help them make the most out of those advertising dollars that they're spending with us.
Right. And I love those reviews because it gives them a chance, even if they've never worked with the homeschool market,
Mhm.
that maybe they've worked in the public school. And I've seen that a lot since COVID. A lot of these organizations that have been working in public school, private school, they're saying, oh, hey, homeschooling is growing. Let's move some
Mhm.
of our advertising dollars over there. And so I've seen these come through for these reviews, and their copy is excellent. They
Yeah.
know how to write it. But when it comes to the homeschool market, might just need to have a few things tweaked just to
Mhm.
reach them, just because, they look at things a little differently. There's certain
Right.
key terms that might, that they might not be interested in, Common Core
Mhm.
or different things that's not something that the homeschool family is looking for, that a public
Right.
school family would be looking for. So I love how you brought that up, because it shows that if you are looking at a report such as this, then you can use those dollars wisely.
Yes.
When you don't have much to spend, then you can see, okay, this will work on this platform, not on this
Mhm.
platform. And
Yes.
that is just quality.
So one thing I'm glad that you brought that up, because one thing that we asked about in the actual survey was, what about certain terms? What about Common Core? How does your family react when you see those words? And when you're marketing to the homeschool market, and when you're targeting those families, it's important to know what they're looking for. If we know that using that one term may turn off half of that target audience, we don't want to use it, right? And so having this survey report right there in front of you, having your marketing team take a look at it, if you're a smaller company, just being able to review it, it's going to make so much different for any size company to have that information when they're getting those ads ready.
Absolutely. How does this report compare to other available reports to advertisers right now?
Yeah, so a couple of things I would note about that. Again, and I know I've already said this, but again, the Old Schoolhouse has been around for over 20 years. We know the homeschooling market. We want families to bring their children home to educate them. We truly believe that that's the best. And so by making this material available to our advertisers, what we're really doing is making more quality curriculum, more quality products available to families so that they are then able to bring their children home. And so we see the value in that. We want all of our companies to really succeed because we know that's what's best for the families that we serve. A couple of things. This report, not only is it just a report, it really takes a look at the changes in curriculum buying patterns over the last 12 months. That's going to be huge in this market today. And then also, I'll mention the price point of this report is excellent. We know that companies will have different market reports done, market research done. They can spend upwards of $100,000 on research like that. That's not abnormal. However, the price point of this is $1,895, $1,895. We've done the research. We've compiled all of the analyses, and we've even done the infographics for you, so you don't even have to do those. So the price is on point, and it's developed so that companies, no matter the size, can take advantage of the information in it. So that's what I would say. I would say there are other reports out there. And for instance, Dr. Brian Ray, if you're in the homeschooling market, you might know of Dr. Brian Ray. He puts out some phenomenal research. Actually, the Old Schoolhouse has and really just enjoys a great relationship with Dr. Ray. Shout out to Dr. Ray. However, his research is a little bit different in that ours really focuses on how advertisers can reach their market. And his is really great for policy and the actual demographics of homeschooling and how it would affect policy and changes in legislation. So I would encourage anyone to take a look at his research. He's phenomenal. But this report is a little bit different in that it really is more focused on marketing your products to the homeschool market.
And it's hot off the market, literally. I mean, this is right now. Yes. This is right
absolutely
now.
Amazing. And I would like to flip through. I know it may be hard to see, but we do have so many great examples of how you can use this information, what you would want to do with this information. And so it's really phenomenal. I really encourage anyone who is interested in the homeschooling market to take a look at this report.
And I just want to go back to what you were saying about how, you want to bring families home, and that's the heart of the Old Schoolhouse. And I think a lot of these companies, these homeschool companies out there, that's their heart too.
Yes.
And just to be able, just as you're talking, I'm just thinking, it's just incredible that we are able to reach out and bring these resources in for these homeschooling families.
Yes.
So anybody watching, or if you know any companies that might find this report valuable, let them know about it, because we know that times are changing and we don't know what's going to be happening in the years ahead. And where many homeschooling families might have said, oh, I homeschool, but you don't need to. I think more now it's no, come join the flock, come be with us, bring your kids home, be that mama bear, be that mama shark, be that one that is taking care of your kids at home. And now with the internet and with fast shipping, we can get things so readily in our homes.
Yes.
It's just a matter of how do we let people know about this. And so that's what this is all about.
That's what it's all about. We truly believe that home is where the children belong. And we want those quality products in the hands of these mamas and daddies, right? And so when we do research like this and we compile the information, we make this survey report, it really is for a much bigger reason than selling a survey report, right? It's because we want to help these companies, big companies that have been mainstays in the homeschool market for years, and those brand new, this is my first book that I've written, and I want to get it out to families, and everyone in between. We want them to have this information. Really quickly, I'll share with you some of the things that we found that I think is super interesting. We know that over 65% of families surveyed, they plan on their children attending a 4-year university.
Wow.
So if I'm a 4-year university, I really want to get in on the homeschool market. right? I want to know, what are these families looking for in their higher education? We know that nearly half of the respondents have at least one child with a learning disability, and that opens the door wide open for companies who are either developing or have developed products for children with learning disabilities. And so the survey report goes into a lot more detail than that and discusses what types of disabilities and that sort of thing. But how phenomenal that we can play a small part in getting those families the resources that they need to educate their children at home. It's a really exciting thing.
That's really beautiful. And I know all states are different. They have different rules, but I know some states, if you pull your kid out of the public school system and you claim religious exemption, you are cut off from the public school system. You cannot use the resources for any learning disabilities.
Right.
So now some schools you can. There are some states and some situations where you can, but some you can't. So by having these resources available, if that is something that you offer in your company, the homeschool market is your market because they have nowhere else to go.
Right.
And I mean, I'm speaking for myself, you know, there's certain resources I'm like, I have to be Googling and searching and trying to find. But if you know, look at this report and you just get with the processes of what's available in here, then you can get yourself out to the families that need your services.
Absolutely. I agree. And, you know, we know that homeschooling families, they read blogs and they read reviews, and that is undeniable in the numbers that we found. And so I think it's so interesting if we want to get the word about our product out, we have a product that we think is a great fit. Where do we go? Well, we know they're reading blogs. We know that they're reading reviews. And so the Old Schoolhouse wants to be able to help with that and get those out there, get those blog reviews out there, which we can do. But it's so exciting for families to, we hear from families who say, you know, I read this review that you all did and it was amazing. And I used this product and it's totally changed our experience with home education. And so to be able to get those products in the hands of homeschooling families, it's really exciting and beautiful.
Yeah. And I mean, this survey just encompasses so much that people do not have to go to training seminars or, you know, spend all these dollars trying to figure out the market. It's been done for them.
Exactly.
And all they need to do is click that button and they'll have it in their hands right away. And so how can they get this?
Yeah, that's great. So what is that saying? You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You do not have to reinvent the wheel here. We've done it. We've conducted the survey. We've analyzed the results. We've put the report together for you. You don't have to do it yourself. Let us help you, because that's what we are hoping, is that this is such a helpful report for everyone. So a couple ways you can get this report. One, lots of you watching already have a sales rep that you have a good relationship with the Old Schoolhouse. Your sales rep is happy to help you get this in your hands. You just have to let them know. You shoot them an email. The other way is you can go directly to our media kit, and the media kit link is there in the bottom. And so you can go directly to our media kit and purchase it straight from there. That's totally okay. Whatever is easiest for your company. If you have questions, you are always welcome to email me, shopson@theoldschoolhouse.com, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you all have about it.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Stephanie. I appreciate you just diving into this and letting us know about this survey. Are there any final words that you'd like to share with us about this survey before we sign off?
Yeah, I just want to say, so much went into producing this survey, and so many participants. I am just praying that this survey is a blessing to all of the companies that are going to be able to read it. I'm praying that it really helps with their marketing efforts, and that ultimately homeschooling families are blessed because of it. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well, I just appreciate your heart in this, and I appreciate you providing this to advertisers in the homeschool market and beyond. So thank you so much, and we will see everyone next time on another Homeschool Live. Bye.
Take care.